I feel like some of the last few videos I made have been a little negative. So I feel like it's time for me to be positive and talk about something that I actually like. And I'm gonna be yapping this entire video about what I believe to be the best game I have ever played, outbeating my previous favorite game, The Stanley Parable, Alan Wake 2. This game, how do I even describe this game? Because personally, all right, let's start. I'm a very big fan of horror games, and I was always interested in Alan Wake 2, mainly because every screenshot that I saw, I mean, the first thing that caught my eye were the graphics of the game. And it especially caught my attention because I saw people saying that on PC, it is the most graphically demanding game possible. Like, that is like the benchmark of like a game that, like, if your PC can run it, it's decent. Like, you have a solid PC because the game is just so graphically demanding, and for a good reason too. Because the game visually is like graphically is stunning. It's the best I've ever seen in my life. Probably until GTA 6, but we'll make a different video about GTA 6 because that's a positive negative sort of thing. But Alan Wake 2 for sure is the most visually stunning game, and that caught my attention. And so I was like, you know what? I will give this game a chance because I got it for free through PlayStation Plus. I got the remastered version of the first game, and then I played. I got the second one same way through PlayStation Plus. So I was like, all right. I think it was when I start playing it. I think spring break of my spring semester. I had some time, so I was like, you know what? Let me grind out Alan Wake remastered, get that out of the way because for me, what personally caught my attention was Alan Wake 2. Not also just because the clips I saw of it were visually interesting, and I heard more better things about Alan Wake 2 than Alan Wake Remaster or just Alan Wake 1. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna play Alan Wake 1. And don't get me wrong, Alan Wake 1, it's a solid game, very solid game. Like it's definitely like a product of its time. Like it's very clearly a PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 type game. Um, and the story was really good. I thought it was engaging. I thought that like the cutscenes were a little campy at times, but it was like charming in a way that sort of did that. And I was like, it wasn't really scary, and I was kind of hoping going in blind to Alan Wake 2 that that it would ramp up the horror aspects of Alan Wake 1 because I was going to Alan Wake 2 and 1 completely blind. I knew nothing about the story. So I played Alan Wake 1 and I thought it was decent. And then you get to Alan Wake 2 and it is a complete haul of everything from Alan Wake 1 times like to amplify it by times 10. That's where it took Alan Wake 1 from. And it is story wise, horror as a horror game, and just as a game in general, so good. Just so good. Where do I even start? I will say, um, I was kind of worried playing Alan Wake 2 that it would be too confusing because Alan Wake 1's like sort of confusing, but like the whole point of the game and the story, the way it works is that you slowly connect throughout playing. But not only does Alan Wake 2 do that the same way, but it makes that an interactive part of the game by introducing this feature called the mind space where like you are revealing the horror of the game bit by bit, and you are connecting the evidence of the investigation that you're trying to connect throughout the story, and you just slowly find out the game and like the story yourself. And not everybody's playthrough is going to be the same because some people will not get all the evidence. Like me, especially the way I play games, I'm very thoroughly like I need to get like every single bit. If I don't experience every single bit of a game, I feel like I missed out. I like had the fear of missing out on on things. So I investigate like literally everything. So I think I got like every bit of the file cases, like the investigations, like part of the game, like done, except for like one like collectible side quest that I just kind of just was like I can't be asked. But um, man, it's so captivating, and I think it's just so incredible how much they like how much more how much gulf in quality there is between Alan Wake 2 and Alan Wake 1. These games like literally came out like was it um 13 years apart. So yeah, 13 years apart. Alan Wake 1 came out in 2010. Alan Wake 2 came out in 2023. And I even played the DLC as well. The DLC is really good, but I think the main story is where the game really shines. Don't get me wrong, I think the DLC is worth playing as well, but Alan Wake 2 storyline is just incredible. Um, and I don't know if I should give spoilers or not because I want people to hopefully watch this video and be like, let me try out Alan Wake 2. But man, I remember actually I like literally I had people in my house because my roommates had people over, and I was so locked in because I was like at the end of Alan Wake 2, and I just didn't. I went outside. I finally went outside when I beat the game, and I was just like, I found the first person I could talk to about the game and like tried explaining everything to them because it was just so like the game like sort of is confusing, but it's in a way that you want to just figure everything out. And it's not like something that disengages you because of how convoluted it is. It's definitely like it striked a very good balance in the story between being, you know, uh, being just, understandable, but still not leaving everything out there like so that you understand everything like it takes like no IQ to understand like you still need to kind of give it some thought and some attention. And in terms of the gameplay as well, I will say um, I've always been a fan, I guess, of like survival horror games. I think survival horror games are a little like you know I personally I really like survival horror games, but I think that they are a little too like a lot of the time like how Resident Evil and like The Last of Us, I guess if you want to count that as survival horror, um, like how those games are sort of they kind of take ideas from one another, and Alan Wake 2 sort of does take ideas from those games as well. Um, but I think where Alan Wake 2 shines is in the fact that like um, it sort of changes up the way that you approach the game over time, and it's not completely static to just like um, find enemy, kill enemy, move to next room. Like there's puzzles and there's I think the where the game really shines is the story because Sam Lake, in my opinion, is next to Hideo Kojima is like an incredible creative director, especially in video games. And you know, Sam Lake, if you want me to be a part of the was it the Alan Wake, is it a movie or a TV series? I forget. If you want me to be a part of that, hit me up. I will take that job in an instant. I don't care if I'm fucking light crew for that. I just want to be there. I want to be in the room where the Alan Wake TV series or movie is made. Um, so just a great story in cinematic. It's like sort of like watching a movie that in a way, but it's not like in those ways that like a lot of those games where a lot of people criticize it because it is literally just watching a movie. Like, don't get me wrong, Alan Wake 2 is also great, just gameplay wise, fun game, and I think the horror and the story is really what captivates you and wants you to keep playing it. I think that's where it shines. And then, of course, you have the visual stunningness of the game. Previously, my favorite game of all time was Stanley Parable, and I stood by that for quite a few years. I don't want to get too into negative stuff because, like I said, I want this video to be more positive because the last few videos have been talking about negative stuff. But I really want to, recommend everybody watching this go play Alan Wake 2 if you have not played Alan Wake 2 by now, because I feel if you haven't played it, you are missing out on a great experience. And honestly, you don't even need to play Alan Wake 1 to really understand the Alan Wake 2 story. I think it definitely supplements like your engagement with the story and um, your engagement with the characters. So I recommend that you play it, but you don't have to understand the story and like play through the game and enjoy it. So, uh, yeah, yeah, that's all I gotta say about Alan Wake 2. Go play it if you have not yet by now. All right, peace.